Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we have a Black Library review for you, and today we're going to be checking out one of these Space Marine conquests and novels, and this one is going to be Ashes of Prospero by Gav Thorpe. Now, I've been in a bit of a Space Wolf reading bonanza lately. We've just finished up the trilogy by Chris Wright. I also did Battle for the Fang not too long ago, and Ashes of Prospero was the next installment in the Space Marine Conquest series that they did, sort of redoing a bunch of major battles for the Space Marines in the more Primaris era, but also sort of taking on, I guess, a replacement of what we had of the Space Marine Battle series previously, which obviously included things for like Battle for the Fang, which is really cool. I hadn't listened to many of these. I've listened to the Devastation of Baal so far, and I'm really excited to check out more of these stories, so I'm going to be going through all the Space Marine Conquest ones that are out there, because they're normally really fun. And I've been really enjoying Space Wolves. I picked up a Combat Patrol lately, and quite excited to get them on the table. Now, with all of that said, this one is written by Gav Thorpe, narrated by John Banks. As always, I listen to the audio versions. I like to listen to them when I'm doing other hobby, painting, building, or even doing chores around the house or putting the kids to bed. Always a good time to listen to an audiobook. So with that said, let's get cracking on and let's talk a little bit about the story. And the story is the Grand Halls of Fenris will grow ever quieter in the wake of the Space Wolves' arduous campaigns now taking place in the new modern 40k universe. Concerned by his chapter's diminishing numbers, the Great Wolf Logan Grimnar entrusts Njal Stormcaller, the Rune Priest, with a task to find a remedy for their plight. When a 10,000-year-old enemy embeds itself in the Rune Priest's mind, it claims that the salvation he seeks lies where an ancient enmity began, on Prospero, the ruined home of the Thousand Sons Legion. Alongside an eclectic company of injured Space Wolves thralls and a trickster who is more hindrance than help, if you know Space Wolves, you know exactly who that is, then Njal Stormcaller sets forth. But it soon becomes apparent that the greater mechanisms are at work, and it is no longer the fate of the Sons of Rust that is at stake, but the entire Imperium itself. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, this story's purpose. This story is showing us, especially at the beginning of it, how the Space Wolves are engaged on all fronts. There is not a single one of the great companies bar Logan Grimnar's own company itself, and even that is planned to go out on crusade very, very soon. Left on Fenris. Many of them are off fighting Chaos, but a ton of them are off fighting the Orcs, who, if you've read the Indominus Crusade, the Dawn of Fire series, you'll know that when Guilliman comes, gives them a Primaris Marines, he sort of tasks them with dealing with the Orcs in that story, and this continues on from there. Now, it doesn't go into detail of any of that part of the story, but definitely sort of tells you that, you know, these are taking place, and this is why a lot of the Space Wolves are out preoccupied, including pretty much all of the new Primaris Marines. Now, this story really shows the ever-depleting numbers of the Space Wolves, how they fought. You've got to remember also the homeworld was invaded by 1,000 Suns once again, and Magnus, and so they had this massive depletion. Their populace on their own homeworld is heavily sort of damaged, and in a bad way, because there are still sort of leftovers from the Thousand Suns, and a lot of the beasts of Fenris are now becoming cursed, and this is affecting the populace. But this is really about how they're going to find a way to remedy the situation, and that is really the story that we take hold of here, with Njal Stormcaller thinking he has an idea of how to remedy the situation by going to Prospero. And so our main character for the story is Njal Stormcaller, which is pretty cool. I only just read the novel Stormcaller, or listened to, I should say, the novel Stormcaller not too long ago in the Chris Wright trilogy, which I talked about at the start. And I really like Njal as a character. He's quite an interesting character, and you got sort of a secondary character role in, I guess, his named book, because it was just about him joining the squad in there. But In this one, he is front and center. He is our main character that we follow, and he is, well, the Space Wolves Rune Priest. He is the highest ranked one of all of them. I guess you could say he is sort of like the chief librarian of the Space Wolves, if you want a codex sort of look at it. And he's a trusted counselor of Logan Grimnar. Now, he, at the start of the story, becomes blighted, cursed with another being sort of joining in his mental thoughts. And this is a pre-heresy Thousand Suns Space Marine that joins him. And over the course of the story, we are going to have Nyal and his little mind buddy have this journey of character development. And so, over the course of the story, what does change about the main character? And I don't think an awful lot does. Now, if you have read the Horus Heresy stories, you will know a lot about the Thousand Suns and Space Wolf history with each other. They're not particularly friends, but if you've read that series of the Horus Heresy well enough, you'll know that it's sort of all not actually intentional on either party there. Russ is a little over-eager, given orders by none other than Horus Lupercal. And so the development of the characters is actually the Space Wolves chapter as a whole, realizing that the Thousand Suns and how the Space Wolves went to attack the Thousand Suns all the way back in the Horus Heresy on Prospero was not by the Emperor's will. It was a lie by Horus, and this really does change a lot of Space Wolves' views on the Thousand Suns, or at least some of the Thousand Suns, because obviously the things that have happened since then, Magnus has fallen. He did, embrace chaos when he was pushed towards it instead of, trying to fix things. He was pushed towards it, and really is an interesting sort of bit about sort of that development of how the Space Wolves actually look of go, we were tricked, which, fuels their rage. They're quite honourable warriors despite giving off this very, I guess, style of barbarians or, savages. They are quite an honourable people, and this does not sit well with them at all. And so, what does this book do? Well, for me, I think my favourite part, personally, of the story is definitely the conversations between Njal and his little Thousand Suns mental or spiritual passenger. I think throughout the course of the story, how this sort of develops with Njal, with him trying to hide it, with him sort of seeming weird to the Space Wolves, to outright just not caring anymore what others think and just outright talking to the spirit inside his head, is a really interesting look, and it does develop really nicely over the course of the story, and the portrayal of how other characters react to this is really interesting as well. I think does a really good job of sort of showing, maybe the degradation of Njal in his sort of mental awareness over the course of the story with this issue. And I think that's a really nice. On a second sort of bit, I really love a particular Space Wolf, Lucas the Trickster, who plays a nice role within the story as well. He always just brings a little bit of light-hearted comedy in his sort of very, I guess, Loki-like role within the Space Wolves. They're all sort of these Nordic, mythical Space Marines, and Lucas the Trickster is very much Loki within all of that, always causing trouble and mayhem. And so, who would like this book? I mean, this is a pretty simple answer here. Of course, this is for Space Wolves fans, but also, if you did enjoy the Space Marine battle novels back in the day, I think you can get a lot out of this. I think the Space Marine Conquest ones have been really good. The Devastation of Baal was really enjoyable. This is my second one of the series so far, and I've really enjoyed it as well. I really think, if you enjoyed those, things like Death of Antagonist, Death of Integrity, Rin's World, Hell's Reach, and all of that, this is a really cool series sort of taking on that aspect again, and I really enjoyed them. So far, the two that I've listened to, and like I said, we're going to look at the others, but if you enjoyed those back in the day, you'll probably enjoy them. If you want just a cool story, I think this is something you can just pick up and read. It does a good job at covering all the sort of information you need to know about where the Space Wolves are at the current point in time. And yeah, just a fun 40k story. This is probably a good one. And so, in summary, I mean, a good plot, interesting characters, big names like, Njal, Stormcaller, Arik, Rockfist, and Lucas the Trickster all play major parts. but also spots of comedy thanks to Lucas the Tricks. You know, those nice little light-hearted moments that break up all the sort of doom and gloom and battle sequences really do breathe life and a little bit of, you know, fun in what is still a cool and enjoyable story, but breathe that little bit of uplift in the story and give you that little smirk on your face. This story feels very 40k. You know, 40k is supposed to be this grim, dark, gritty, warlike universe, but it does have those little quips and those little bits of comedy here and there in it, which I think really does make the universe. And Lucas the Trickster is certainly one of those characters that so easily brings it to a story. Really, really enjoyed this. I look forward to the next one, and I'm probably going to pick up more Space Wolves stuff. I'm on a really big Space Wolf binge at the moment. If you have a favourite Space Wolves story that definitely is in audio format, let us know your thoughts about them down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've listened to or read Ashes of Prospero as well. But yeah, let us know your thoughts about this, the book, any other Space Wolves ones we should check out as well down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description. And as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Cure Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And our YouTube members: Greenridge Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.